Hey, and welcome to Stay at Home Time with Robin and African Payment Solutions. Today I'm going to talk about the evolving payment types and how payments across Africa could kind of change and what the new drivers are for payments and new payment methods across the continent. So let's start with stablecoins. Stablecoins are a digital representation of a fiat money, like a rand or a naira or a Kenyan shilling. And they're perfect for the development of sub-Saharan Africa, and particularly a stablecoin, a USD stablecoin, because USD is already an alternative currency for most Africans to be able to trade, and particularly it makes sense to use for cross-border and for easy adoption. And then there's the next kind of digital currency could be a Bitcoin, particularly South Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana. They have a very high per capita holding of Bitcoin, and it makes perfect sense for them to move at some point from a speculative asset to a medium of exchange, and particularly through the use of Lightning Network. Then the easy access to stablecoins will be catalyzed further by the rapid expansion of the leading exchanges like Luno and Binance to key territories, which could well become a part of the, it kind of maps quite well to the areas of e-commerce expansion. And then this will start with remittances, because already cross-border transactions work extremely well with, for example, XRP and Bitcoin. And this could well mean that people will be holding currency, digital currency, and then they might migrate to using it for payments as opposed to just remittances. Then the exchange expansions are interestingly quite well mapped to e-commerce-rich countries like Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, Zambia, and Uganda, which are kind of the core and up-and-coming e-commerce countries across the continent. Then the next thing that could make a difference is West, East, and Southern Africa are cooperating to forge links between central bank systems, which could facilitate cross-border real-time gross settlement by linking the systems together, which would mean that, transfers happen almost instantaneously and more economically. Then let's move to central banks. In country, they are looking at interoperability. There's a high move to encouraging mobile money and banks to systems to link and to be able to transfer instantly from the one payment method to another. Nigeria is a good example of this, where they have a very well developed digital banking, mobile money, interoperability, and bank transfer system, which makes it a lot easier for payments. Although there's been not much interest from African countries, there are signs of interest from African central banks in central bank digital currencies, which is a digital representation of the rand, but actually issued by the, it's not a representation actually, it's a digital rand, a digital naira, and a digital Kenyan shilling. So there are countries that are looking into it. South Africa is one of them. I think Rwanda was another one. And there's also this possibility, there's a very strong link between China and South Africa trade-wise, and China is one of the world's leading central bank digital currency countries, and it would be really beautiful for them to be able to make instant transfers for trade between China and African countries. So they could well work with central banks across Africa to implement digital currencies once they've perfected theirs. Then the card associations are working with mobile money providers. So Safaricom with their M-Pesa, and I'm trying to think who else it was, but they are enabling mobile money accounts with virtual Visa cards, which makes quite a lot of sense, which puts a mobile money consumer onto the global rails of payment. So the ability to do cross-border transacting is so much easier when you're linked into the card networks. So this could be accelerating the way payments link to the rest of the world. And then finally, very much in its embryo stage, some of the digital currencies like Dash and Stellar. XRP is more on a wholesale basis, but Dash and Stellar, they've taken their learnings from Venezuela and Argentina, where when the currency inflated itself away, these digital currencies, Dash and Stellar, got in and have provided an element of stability for consumers in terms of payments. It's coming to Africa. Stellar is making a lot of investments in growing their currency across the continent, but it's still a long way off. So there's a bit about the future and the involvement of payment methods and payment systems across sub-Saharan Africa. I hope you found it interesting. If you're looking for payments, mobile money, card across Africa at the checkout, then give us a shout at africanpaymentsolutions.com and we will get you paid. We'll find a way to get the most relevant and key payment methods to be accepted on your website. Thanks very much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll chat again tomorrow.